Oh, Lindsey, I needed this segment like 2 months ago. If the new year opens, new travel horizon or new opportunities on the horizon for you. If you're traveling in the new year, you want to make sure you're in the best health possible before you leave. All it takes is a bit of pre-planning. So our next guest is here with all of those tips, plus what to bring with you on vacation to stay healthy. That would be Nurse Jake Mossop. Great to have you on.
Yeah, good morning.
So I traveled and I got desperately sick, and I was like, you know what? We need to make sure this doesn't happen to other Canadians.
Yes.
Your first tip is that you say we all think to research like best flight prices, best hotel prices, but we don't necessarily research the health of our destination, and that's something we should be doing.
Yeah, we should spend just as much time, if not more time, researching the health implications of where we're traveling to. And the best thing is that there's so many websites that are dedicated to this, that are divided based on the region or the country that you're going to, and it will tell you what you need to do health-wise. One of the best websites is actually the Government of Canada's website. They have a travel website, and not only do they have travel advisories based on like geopolitical landscape of the world right now, but they have health advice. So what you should do to prepare and make an informed decision when you're traveling.
Okay, so what would you advise that Canadian travelers do regardless of where they're going to?
Yeah, there's so many things you want to do, but the number one action Canadians can take is get immunized based on the country or the region that you're traveling to. So very common immunization would be to make sure that your hepatitis A and B is up to date, or that you get it, and your tetanus. And then other areas you might travel to, there might be like typhoid that you need, or yellow fever. So you can visit your primary care provider or go to a travel health clinic, and you want to give yourself at least 6 weeks before you travel to make sure that you can build up that immunity and get what you need.
Okay, so one of the most common issues I think that travelers talk about is you go somewhere, you eat all this amazing food, you have all these wonderful drinks, and then you spend the rest of your trip in the bathroom because your stomach is upset.
Yeah.
So what do people need to know about travelers' diarrhea?
Yeah, it's early in the morning to be talking about it, but nurses love to talk about bowel movements, so let's just get right in there.
Let's get in there.
Yeah. Research actually shows that 70% of travelers traveling abroad, 70% will experience diarrhea while traveling. And the thing to know about diarrhea is that it's not the illness itself. So you'll actually get diarrhea as a symptom of, say, food poisoning or having a bacterial infection in your gut, like E. coli. So there's two things that you can do before you travel. One is like medication and vaccination based. There are vaccines to help you prevent getting diarrhea. So you'll want to speak to your healthcare provider or a travel health clinic before going. And then the other thing, Kelsey, are just things that we can all do. There's 4 things that anyone can do when you're traveling. So the first is making sure that you're drinking filtered or bottled water. So no suspect water or right from the tap, depending on where you're going. And then make sure that the food that you're eating is fully cooked before eating it. And then washing your hands, obviously, regularly with running water and soap. And then the last one, like we don't always think about, but this can help you prevent getting diarrhea, is making sure that you're eating fruit that hasn't been peeled, or that you're able to rinse off yourself. Oftentimes we see fruit on buffets that's already been sliced up and cut up, and try to avoid that.
Would the same go for veggies then?
Not so much, because they're usually cooked. I mean, maybe if they're raw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good tips to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about like a medical kit that we can bring, because we all have like our little baggies.
Yeah, toiletry bags.
Stocked full of everything. What kind of things should we be bringing?
Okay, so we're gonna all end up being little dispensaries, like little pharmacists traveling, but I'll give you a list of things, and then based on what you need, you can tailor it to yourself. So the first is anti-diarrhea medication. So take something like an Imodium or a Pepto-Bismol to help with an upset stomach. You can also pack with you an antacid if you're someone who gets reflux or indigestion, and then an antihistamine. So depending on where you're traveling, if you have seasonal allergies or you get bug bites, itchiness, take an antihistamine with you. And then another thing you can take is motion sickness pills. I don't know if you get motion sickness, but it can be really bad if you're on boats, if you're taking a car on a bumpy road for a long time. Other things you can take is cold medication. So if you get a cough, a decongestant, and then taking a mild laxative. So if you're someone who gets bunged up, so the opposite of diarrhea when you're traveling, then you can take like a Docusate or a Senecot, and then a mild sleeping aid or something to help you if you have anxiety with traveling.
This is so helpful, and I think another thing aside of just being prepared is that all of that, if you end up having to purchase it wherever you travel, often ends up being really expensive.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing I will say is make sure if you have any prescribed medications that you take regularly, make sure that you have enough of a supply to take with you. And then the basics, like you definitely want sunscreen.
And bug spray.
Yeah, my mom always says, take bug spray. It's the thing you don't think about.
There you go. Then you can just travel and enjoy it, and I hope you do. Jake, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.